Those of us in the gun community are well aware that a gun-free zone is a recipe for disaster. It's a place where criminals go and they know that there's no one there who's going to shoot back and defend themselves. They're all sitting ducks. I mean, it's no coincidence that Virginia Tech, Columbine, the movie theater shootings over in Colorado, Fort Hood, the Libby's shooting in Killeen, Texas, all these shootings took place in gun-free zones. I did something different today because I wanted to learn, and I did learn. I interviewed 15 to 20 people today. I went to a gun-free zone. I went to a Cinemark theater. Now, Cinemark owns approximately 500 movie theaters in the United States, the bigger, nicer ones, these huge movie complexes. They're gorgeous. And of course, we know that's where the shooting took place in Colorado at a Cinemark movie theater. So I went to a Cinemark movie theater here in Boca Raton, Florida, and interviewed 15 to 20 people. Off the cuff. I just wanted to learn. I've never seen someone do this in a video in a free fire zone. You know, the response I got surprised me. I'll tell you right now after this little break, we got to discuss it. A lot of people basically they don't know what a free fire zone is, and we have to just talk about it. But I went to the streets. I'm not going to show you all 15, 20 interviews because I don't want the anti-gun people to come after us. But a lot of people they just don't know. They don't know. Let's talk about it, and then I'll show you the interviews. Welcome to weaponseducation.com. All right, so what I did was I had this little list here so I could show the people the questions I was about to ask them. Everyone was receptive. They were like, sure, I'll talk to you. Put me on camera. I don't have a problem with it. I would say 90%. And the questions were basically, this theater has a policy of no guns allowed by legal gun permit owners. They have a little sign, a very small sign. All Cinemark theaters do. The movie theater is owned by Cinemark, the same owners of the theater in the mass shooting in Colorado. And this is what I was telling everyone prior to the interview. The theater does not allow law-abiding citizens to defend themselves. And then I would say, do you think a criminal will obey this policy? Do you feel safer in a gun-free zone? Was another question. Should this establishment change their policy? Now, because I don't want the anti-gun people to jump all over us, I'm not going to show you all the interviews because let's just talk about it. To be respectful to the people who took their time with me. And we're talking about most of them being students from Florida Atlantic University in the Boca Raton area. This is the ritzy area. These kids are driving around. These 22, 23-year-olds are driving around in Ferraris, BMWs, everything you can think of. All these Maseratis. These kids come from wealthy families. But put that all aside. It doesn't make them realize that we need to bear arms. A lot of them, I asked this question. I don't want to embarrass them and show the video. I would ask the question, what's the difference in a Democrat, an independent, and a Republican? You know what? A lot of them were like deer in headlights. I don't know. I would also ask them, what is the Second Amendment? I don't know. I don't know. Which one is that? Is that the one where you're the right to remain silent? No, that's the fifth. They don't know their amendments, and nothing against the kids. But it was startling. A lot of the people actually came out on camera and said, well, I guess if there's a sign there, I guess that's a good thing, right? Because they didn't know what to say. And to be respectful to them, I'm not going to show them on camera, on the channel, because you guys will tear them up, and the anti-gun people will eat it up. But it was shocking. Let me do this right now. Let me read you. This is how a free fire zone sign should read. This is how it should read. Like here's one for instance. No weapons allowed. Attention criminals. This is a defense-free criminal zone. All law-abiding patrons of this establishment have been disarmed for your convenience. Enjoy. I mean, come on. The criminals love free fire zones. They love to go to establishments where guns are not allowed. Here's another sign that I think is appropriate for free fire zones. Attention, robbers, rapists, and murderers. The management of this establishment forbids trained, licensed, law-abiding citizens from carrying concealed weapons on the premises. This is a self-defense free zone. However, since you are already contemplating the commission of criminal acts, this prohibition does not apply to you. No one in this establishment is able to effectively resist you. You may rob, rape, or kill anyone you find on these premises without fear of being injured or killed in self-defense. That's how a sign should read if they're going to be in a free fire zone, not like just no guns allowed. It is so hideous for an establishment to put up a sign, no guns allowed, when the state says, yeah, you can carry a gun if you're a law-abiding citizen, you got an FBI background check, you have your permit, depending on what state you're in. In Florida, we can carry a gun. But in some of these private properties, they're called free fire zones. I'm going to do videos in the future just doing an all-out boycott against free fire zones. I think it's hideous, and I also think that it's a recipe for murder and death and disaster, and there's going to be more of these mass murders in the future. It's no secret. Okay, let me roll right into, I'm only going to show you 3 of the interviews because I was just, the people who were, let me say this, the people who were pro-gun, they actually came out and told me, yeah, I got a gun, I got a permit. I can't stand free fire zones. I'm like, great, let's talk about it. Those people didn't want to go on camera. I'm like, well, why? I need to talk to you. One girl goes, I got a knife, I love it, but I need to protect myself. I go, well, let's talk about it. Oh no, I can't get on camera. Like 10 people told me who are pro-gun. They wouldn't get on, you know why? They're afraid of the government. All of them, like 80% of them. Off camera, like, I'm not putting my face on camera saying I'm pro-gun. Why? The government might get me, you know. Scary stuff. Is it the professors with these kids and how they teach them? Is it the parents? I think it's the parents. Let me roll into the 3 interviews I'm going to show you, and then we'll talk about it after that. Let's just do that right now. Okay, I'm here with Rick. We're at a Cinemark theater, Boca Raton, Florida. Just met Rick. Rick, I got your approval to ask you a couple of questions. What's your opinion on the fact that this movie theater does not allow law-abiding gun permit holders to conceal a firearm within their establishment?
Well, I'm indifferent about it. I mean, you think you're going to be safe here, and you don't really. I don't think about it too much. I don't feel like I need a gun here.
Okay, so the people in the Colorado shooting, if people had guns in the first few rows of that theater, do you think that might have made a difference? Instead of 25% of the people getting shot, you think maybe only 10 or 12 people would have been shot instead of 70 if there was some law-abiding? I'm just your opinion.
Well, hindsight's 20/20.
Okay.
You know, after something happens, it seems like everybody's an expert. But why didn't they think of it beforehand? Things like that just happen every once in a while. That shouldn't change gun laws or anything, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because when you take away our guns, the people that aren't law-abiding citizens, they're going to find a way to get them. So I think we're entitled to have guns.
I agree. But what about if you're allowed to go to the mall, Boca Town Center Mall, which we are, we're allowed to go to the mall and conceal a firearm, but you're not allowed to conceal a firearm in this theater. Why do you think this establishment has that rule? It's their private property and not the mall. It's just
I really
you just don't really think about it, huh?
Well,
Which is fine.
I don't, and there's a million opinions probably, but I've never thought about it.
Well, good. And that's a good answer, and thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the movie.
All right, take care.
All right, hey Bill, how are you?
How's it going?
Good. All right, I want your opinion. We chatted for a little bit on, what's your opinion? Let's just chat a little bit on the Second Amendment.
I think it's vital for a foundation of how you perceive protection in a society.
Explain that.
I think that it's empirical for citizens to feel security without the need of government, to feel safe in your own house, in your own private quarters. So I believe in the Second Amendment.
Okay, do you have a concealed firearms permit?
No, I do not.
Do you plan on getting one?
Yes, I do.
All right, and now there's some establishments like the movie theater right here, they have signs up that do not allow people with the permit into the theaters, like the Cinemark theater, or of course where the mass shooting took place. What's your opinion on that? Do you agree with that or disagree?
You know, before we started talking, I never really noticed, and then you noted that the signs are very small. But, you know, I haven't really given it much thought, but I probably would feel safer in a gun-free zone if I knew the demographic I was around. Because as we were speaking, the intelligence level of gun owners is a huge element of the equation.
All right, so what you're saying is if you can control everyone's personality and hopefully everyone's level-headed and normal, then everything's okay.
Well, then I would feel more acceptable in a gun zone. But
that's impossible to assume everyone's level-headed who gets a gun permit.
it is, but it's also, you know, it's for me to not notice gun-free zones or gun-free zones and then to submerge myself in the thought about it is kind of naive.
Kind of catching you off guard is what you're saying?
Kind of, yeah.
All right, do you think a criminal will obey that sign, or do you think they'll target those people who are sitting ducks knowing no one in there has a gun?
Well, as you noted, you said that most of the mass shooting areas are gun-free zones.
Correct.
That being news to me, possibly they knew that and it was a component of their strategy.
All right, and what about, just chatting a little bit, Fast and Furious, have you heard of that?
Yes, I am aware of Fast and Furious.
And what do you think about the fact that Eric Holder, supposedly a lot of people believe that he lied under oath and covered up some things? Do you agree with that?
I completely think he should be held accountable.
He should be held accountable.
Yes.
Yes, I've done a video on that. He should be held accountable.
I think that mainstream media of America has really ignored the situation in Mexico and the violence that's been going on right at our border. And I agree it should deserve more attention.
Great. All right, well, that concludes our little chat, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm here with Joseph. Hello, Joseph.
Hi, how are you?
And you're a Korean War vet, correct?
Absolutely.
What is your opinion on the right to bear arms?
My opinion to bear arms, everybody should carry a gun.
Now, did you realize the Colorado shooting took place at a movie theater similar to the one next to us, owned by Cinemark, and Cinemark does not allow guns within their movie theaters. What's your opinion on that?
They shouldn't. They shouldn't allow that. They should have.
They should allow guns.
Should allow guns.
Of
yeah.
course, because a criminal is not going to abide by that little sign, correct?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so there you have three different perspectives. Senior citizen, of course, he was totally pro-gun. And all the people I spoke to during the day, I mean, I was out there in 100-degree weather. I was assuming I would get a lot of people on camera to actually say, yeah, everyone needs to carry guns. I'm not going to enter a free fire zone. The few people who thought that way, like I said, they won't go on camera. But most of the people were just, I don't know. I don't even know how to answer these questions. I don't even understand, anything about the Second Amendment, even though I'm basically like an Ivy League student here, but I don't know. It's a little scary. What I learned is I'm glad I'm the parents to my children, because I know they're going to grow up knowing all the amendments. They're going to grow up knowing their rights as Americans, and we need to spread the word. These people out there, these youngsters, these Americans, these are good people, but they don't know what's going on. They have no idea. And it's scaring me with the elections coming up. I've actually got into some political questions with them, and they don't know the difference in a Democrat and a Republican. Some of them didn't even know who's running for president. Yes. I'm not going to put them on camera on the channel. Who are you voting for? I knew I wasn't going to post it, but who are you voting for? I don't know who's running. Well, when is the election? I don't know. They don't know. I said it's in November. It's coming. You don't know? No, I don't know. Pretty scary stuff. We need to educate our youngsters now. I guess that's how I can sum up the day, is we need to educate everyone we can about the Second Amendment and about voting and about the right to bear arms and about how important it is to boycott establishments that are free fire zones. I'm going to just leave it at that. You throw in your comments. I was out in 100-degree weather all day today, and I'm flabbergasted, to tell you the truth. I'm just absolutely flabbergasted that people just have nothing wrong with them, but they just have no clue. I'm checking out. Thank you.